Talk to him.
Classic codes, I ain't taking it slow. Forgive me, Lord, I woke up in that mode. Whether the winters were left in the cold.
Salute to everybody 333 as y'all fall in the chat. Oh shit, let me update this real quick. So the code language conversation today, we're going objective versus subjective. We're going to really break this down too. Just simply because they get conflated often. So the code language conversation today is objective versus subjective. So we're going to start off the simple way just by going over the definitions of the two, because they're literally polar opposites, right? So objective, not influenced by personal feelings or opinions in considering and representing facts. I'm going to read that again. The definition of objective: not influenced by personal feelings or opinions in considering and representing facts. That is the definition of objective, right? And then you have subjective, defined as based on or influenced by personal feelings, taste, or opinions. Again, the definition of subjective: based on or influenced by personal feelings, tastes, or opinions. So as y'all can see, the objectivity and subjectivity are polar opposites. Synonyms for objective: impartial, unbiased, unprejudiced, right? Synonyms for subjective: personal, personalized, individual, biased, prejudiced. You see what I mean? So they're literally polar opposites, right? Why does this come up? Because as we continue on this path with cracking the codes and talking the code language, there's always going to be people who are in disagreement with whatever the takes are, right? There is a clear delineation between things that can be proven to be true or false, fact-based information, and between somebody's feelings centered around their own personal experiences. There's a clear determining thing here. So when you're just spewing opinions rooted in bias, generally speaking, an opinion is just how you see something, what you think about it. Can an opinion be right or wrong? The answer to that is yes. An opinion can be right or wrong. If you have an opinion about a fact that is contrary to the fact, then your opinion is indeed wrong. It's not factual, right? So an opinion can be right or wrong. Now, an opinion on something that is subjective, not objective, something that is subjective, meaning that it doesn't have to be rooted in facts or considering facts, your opinion can't be right or wrong. If you decide that you think this person is beautiful and the next person next to you doesn't find them attractive at all, both of y'all are correct. It's just your opinions. It's your own preferences. There is no right or wrong in that. That would be subjectivity. Salute to whoever just fell in. Drop a 333 if you with me. We talking about the code language today. We talking about objective versus subjective. So, yeah. So that would be subjectivity. That's subject to one's perspective, perception, preferences, views. That would be subjectivity. Objectively, you can answer the same question and prove it to be true. So let me break it down with the same example. You could see said person. Let's put a face on it. Let's say Rihanna. If I make the statement in a group setting and I say Rihanna is objectively beautiful, one person in the room could say, no, she's not, because I don't find her to be beautiful. They could say that, right? But if we were to ask 1 million people, if 999,000 of them say, yes, she's beautiful, and one person says, I don't find her to be beautiful, it is still objectively true that she is a universally attractive person. If that much of a percentage of the population finds you to be attractive, it is objectively true that you are attractive. So that opinion can be proven to be fact. Same thing when it comes down to actual things that can be counted. If math is involved, there's going to be an element of objectivity if math is involved. If, for example, when men come on these podcasts and we make the point that a large majority of women these days kind of have similar taste in men, they're going for the same small percentage of men. Is it objectively true or is it subjective? Let's discuss. So one could argue, no, I don't believe that's true. I don't think that's true. Well, to make it objective, we go to the numbers. Black women have over 1 million more children than black men. That speaks to a couple things. That speaks to the fact that some black women are stepping outside of the race, but we can prove again objectively that is incorrect, that's not the majority of the stat, because black women marry and procreate outside of their ethnicity the least out of all women in America, statistically proven. So the other reason for that stat being the way it is, as far as black women having 1 million more children than black men, is that a lot of these baby daddies are multiple time offenders. They not making one baby mama, they making 3 baby mamas. Do I have 4? Do I have 4 going on? I have 4 baby mamas. Do I have 5? Does anybody have 5? 5 baby mamas. Oh, okay. Do we have 8 baby mamas? 8 baby mamas. 8 baby mamas. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of times these men that are moving recklessly through the streets and lack discipline, even though you have options, it doesn't mean that you have to sample every option that you have, brother. So these men who have options for whatever reasons, whether it be money, whether it be natural aesthetic, whatever the case may be, they moving with a lack of discipline, and the women are moving with a lack of discernment. And you couple that up and you get the statistic. One could say, oh, you sound biased or you hate black people, right? That's somebody who don't want to listen to harsh realities. This channel's not for you. Get off my channel. Stay off my channel. Now, for people who want to have discussions about why the things are the way they are, we can do that, but we're not going to talk about things that we can prove to be true like they're not real. We're not over here questioning reality. So, yeah, I mean, I think that's one major thing, is that if you lack the ability to be objective, you also lack the ability to have deep conversation. If you only able to be subjective, all the conversations you have will be shallow. You have to have the ability to look at things beyond your own personal lens, through your own personal experiences and your own personal biases. You have to be able to put that to the side and look at it from a macro level if we're having a discussion about people in general. When you're able to do that, then you're able to be honest and assess. What do y'all think? Do y'all think the people that are shepherding the flock, so the people that control the media, the people that control the propaganda, the people that control the news, do you guys think that they're being dishonest about the majority of people? No, they're looking at things objectively, assessing things the way it is, and deciding how they want to manipulate the masses going forward. And then they keep playing chess. You can't fix, correct, adjust, better, improve anything without first recognizing and acknowledging that it is what it is, even if what it is fucked up right now. So understanding the difference between objectivity and subjectivity is paramount. When I give my takes, a lot of my takes are with the understanding of the reality around me. It doesn't mean that it's the reality inside of my bubble. It goes back to the code language from yesterday with the you versus y'all thing. I understand my personal experiences and whether or not they're in alignment with what the majority consists of, whether or not that's going to have me turn out to be a person who thinks like the majority of people. I understand all those things objectively. And so because I understand all of those things, I know how to remove myself and look at what it is outside of my bubble, my world. If I couldn't do that, I'd have a I'd have a ceiling over my head of I'd have a ceiling of potential over my intellect. If you lack the ability to be objective, there's a ceiling of potential over your intellect. You're not going to get past a certain point. You have to be able to see things outside of yourself. It's just like people who don't know how to be objective can't give good advice because they always going to tell you what they would do. I'm not asking you what you would do. I may be asking you what I should do, not what you would do, because what you would do might not be what I should do. I need objectivity, if y'all follow me. So I think it's just very important, just to reiterate one more time, that the definition of objective, not influenced by personal feelings or opinions in considering and representing facts. That's the definition of objective. So not influenced by personal feelings or opinions, just the ability to look at things for what it is. Subjective, based on or influenced by personal feelings, taste, or opinions. So these are the things that we got to be conscious of if we want to if we want to improve communication by and large again. Because by and large, we're poor communicators. And an indication of that, again, the difference between subjective and objective. I just made a statement, right? By and large, we're poor communicators. Okay. Why is that not just my opinion? Why can I claim that that's an objectively true thing? Well, there's few different statistics that we could go to fact base my argument. The first thing would be the literacy rates, the reading levels of the average man, especially if you want to narrow it down to black folks. So if you're a poor reader, poor writer, you may not be the best speaker. Is that true for all people? Are there people who spoke well that couldn't read and write? Absolutely. In today's time, no, not too often. Most of the time, if you're a good speaker, you're also going to be fairly literate. You're either going to write at a decent level or read at a decent level or both. So that's objectively true. Also, if you want to look outside of the literacy rates, and when you say most people are poor communicators, you can look at the crime rate. And not the crime rate of like the YNs running around playing Grand Theft Auto in real life, not those crime rates, but look at the domestic crime rates and look at how many things went left in situations where people were unalived or severely injured due to the inability to de-escalate, due to the inability to effectively communicate, due to the inability to know how to agree to disagree. So again, if I make a statement and I say, by and large, we're poor communicators, there's things that I can look to validate that it's objectively true. Does that mean there are no good communicators? No, that's not what it means. People who take statements like that way, again, they have areas of opportunity in their communication, because another portion of being a great communicator is being a great listener. The better you listen, the better you respond, the better you understand, the better you comprehend, and so on and so forth. Many pros, very few cons. One of the cons of being a great listener is if you're identified as a great listener, people will want to unload on you a lot. But for the most part, being a good listener has more pros than cons. So, but yeah, that's the code language conversation for today. Objective versus subjective. I think it's very important to know the difference. The question of the day is going to be in alignment with the actual code language, but I want to switch over into the reaction video just to shift gears a little bit.
Classic codes, I ain't taking it slow. Forgive me, Lord, I woke up in that mode. Weathered the winters when left in the cold. Hardened my heart and now hardened the flow.